Hey guys, so yesterday, basically for Korea, they released a test server patch notes, and I just wanted to go over them. Just to note, these are on the test server of Korea, so they're not even on the live server yet, so these could be changed. Stuff isn't completely set in stone, but a lot of changes to the classes. About a month ago, they released a producer letter in Korea actually discussing that they're going to be changing a lot of classes and trying to make them more balanced, everything like that. So now we finally got some information on some of the things they're doing. There's so much information, I'm just going to be making multiple videos, just I don't want to do like a 30-minute video of me doing all the patch notes. I'll basically be focusing on some of the main changes, so hopefully you guys enjoy this. For today, we're going to be going over the Blade Dancer, just because they are getting a lot of changes, and I feel like it's definitely important to talk about them. So if you look at the patch notes, one of the things is they actually are buffing them a little bit, but they're also nerfing them too. So it's kind of like a buff in certain areas and a nerf in other areas. So we'll just kind of go down the list and kind of discuss some of the things they're doing. So basically Lightning Flash, that's one of their main DPS skills when they're in draw stance. They are buffing that for all the weapons, which is nice. So all of them are getting a little bit more of an increase, which will help out, like for Raven and stuff like that. Another thing they're doing that is kind of interesting is they're actually changing the soul shields a little bit. So the BT soul shields, basically they're removing certain things. So for example, if you're in wind build, you don't really care for flicker that much. You care about sunder because that's basically your main ability to get into rolling typhoon and stuff like that. So they're just going to be removing flicker, and then vice versa for lightning. Really don't use sunder, you use flicker. So they're just removing that just to make it more relevant to the builds, which is cool. Same thing for the High Queen soul shields and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool that they're just making it more relevant. Also buffing it a little bit for each build, so that's cool. Now, the main thing I really want to talk about is just the changes to Lightning Draw. These are the big changes. Basically, what they're doing is they're actually removing Lightning Draw Move 3 and Wind Slash Move 3. Now, if you don't know what Lightning Draw Move 3 is, it's basically the ability to cast Lightning Draw twice. So basically, you use Lightning Draw and you can use it additional time. Now, this is a really great ability for Lightning build. And the reason why is because when you have the badges together, the Sagwood badge and the Courage Soul badge, when you have them together, basically what happens is when you use Lightning Draw, it reduces the cooldown of your Flaming Scourge, which is your Z, by 7 seconds. So you can use Lightning Draw twice with Move 3. And basically that allows you to reduce the cooldown of your Flaming Scourge by 14 seconds. So that's a huge cooldown reduction on your Z, which obviously your Z is really important because it's a huge steroid boost to your abilities. It gives you critical damage, critical boost, more lightning spirits, all that stuff that's like really essential to lightning builds. So what they're doing is they're removing Lightning Draw Move 3 completely from the game, which I do not like at all. I feel like that's a bad move. Also, what they're doing is to counteract that, they're saying now Sagwood will reduce the cooldown by 9 seconds instead of 7. But the problem is, since Move 3 was removed, you don't get the 14-second reduction. You only have 9 seconds now. So that is a nerf to the Flaming Scourge cooldown. Whether or not, it looks like it's a buff by the 2-second increase of the reduction, but really, when you look at the whole total package, it's definitely a nerf, which is kind of unfortunate because I really like using Lightning Draw twice. It's really fun, and so I don't really like that change, honestly. Another thing they're doing is the Dynasty Misted badge will no longer be considered projectile, so this will be a big kind of change for 6v6. Also, another thing they're doing is Maelstorm. They're changing that, so they're going to be changing it to Sword Shroud, and basically it's just going to be kind of similar to the Blade Master's ability, and I find that really weird because I feel like they're trying to make Blade Dancers kind of almost similar to Blade Masters, and I don't like that change because to me the whole reason why Blade Dancers are fun is because they're a sword class that has high DPS and low defense. To make them too identical, I feel like it kind of messes up the identity of the Blade Dancer, because the main reason why I play them is just because they have high damage and they're really fun sword classes. So I don't really like that they're trying to make their moves identical to Blade Masters at all. I don't really feel like that's a good move. Another thing they did is Phantom Drip. They kind of nerfed Phantom Drip. Basically, they made the cast time longer. And I don't feel like that's a good idea because honestly, Phantom Drip is really not even good anymore. In certain cases it's good, but a lot of times really you're losing a huge DPS when you're using Phantom Drip. So especially like if the party member uses Soul Burn and you Phantom Drip, you're losing all your DPS. So Phantom Drip honestly is not even super good. A lot of times I don't even see myself using it. and parties and stuff like that. I'd rather just get my DPS off. So I don't feel like nerfing fan rip is really a good idea at all. But they are doing that. Also, they kind of noted doing some changes to wind build to make it stronger. But honestly, the changes to wind build aren't even that significant in my opinion. Just because I feel like they almost nerfed wind build a little bit. They did increase some things, like they made the cast speed for multi-slash better. But overall, these changes, in my opinion, aren't really enough to make wind build really OP or anything like that. Overall, for my thoughts, I just don't really like these changes to Blade Dancer. I feel like, one, they're trying to make it too identical to Blade Master by buffing their defense. And I mean, it's a buff by making their defense better, but I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of playing Blade Dancer. So I don't really like that. Another thing they really did that I didn't like is they changed Maelstorm. So basically, when you use Maelstorm, it resists all damage for 3 seconds. So it gives you 3 seconds of iframes, so you resist all damage coming in. And what they're doing now is you have you only resist 3 attacks within 5 seconds. So the iframe time is 2 seconds longer, but you can only resist 3 attacks. So when you look at it, it's actually a nerf to Maelstorm, which again I don't like. I feel like it's kind of dumb to reduce some of their iframes, because honestly, without Blade Dancer's iframes, they're really hard to play, because that's the only way you survive. You're up close and personal, and you really rely on your iframes to survive. And by doing that, it's not a really good move for them, in my opinion. Also, it kind of is a nerf, in my opinion, to 6v6, just because gunners can just burst them down super quickly. They can use 3 attacks super fast and then still get through your iframes. Where before, if you had the old Maelstorm, it resist all attacks within 3 seconds. So you'd be able to dodge more abilities. So overall, I don't really like these changes. I don't like that they're removing Lightning Jaw. That's definitely a nerf to Blade Dancers for Lightning build. So I feel like that's kind of dumb, just because I don't even feel like Blade Dancers are really that OP at this moment. But that's just my opinion. I'm trying not to be too biased, just because it is my main class. But yeah, I honestly don't like most of these changes. I like the little buffs that they're doing. But overall, I feel like it's more of just nerfs to Blade Dancers, which is kind of surprising, because I didn't feel like they're really that broken or really in need of any nerfs. So that's just my thoughts. I'll go over some of the other changes in another video. But let me know what you guys think about the Blade Dancer changes. Do you like them? Do you not? And thank you for watching.